Hello class, today we are going to start with Title 2 and Title 2 starts with Chapter 9. Chapter 9 deals with the form and interpretation of a bill of exchange. As early as the first chapter, we have defined the difference between a bill of exchange and a promissory note. I have told you in the course of our lecture in Chapter 1 that technically for this subject we will be discussing the three forms of negotiable instruments, and this would include the promissory note, the bill of exchange, and the checks. So Title 2 specifically deals with bills of exchange. Section 126, what is a bill of exchange? Bill of exchange defined. A bill of exchange is an unconditional order in writing addressed by one person to another, a drawer to the drawee, signed by the person giving it, signed by the drawer, requiring the person to whom it is addressed, the drawee, to pay on demand or at a fixed or determinable future time a sum certain in money to the order or the bearer. To refresh your memory, this is the mechanics for the bill of exchange. Drawer makes a bill, then gives it to the payee. The purpose of giving it to the payee is for the payee to present it to the drawee. The drawee eventually may accept the instrument. If he accepts the instrument, he ceases to be a drawee. He now becomes an acceptor. The transition is very important because different rules apply and different liabilities attach to this person depending on their status. So once the drawee accepts the instrument, he ceases to be a drawee, he becomes an acceptor, and later we'll find out that an acceptor has a primary liability. Okay, now let us distinguish a bill of exchange from a promissory note. The first distinction: a bill of exchange contains an unconditional order, while a promissory note contains an unconditional promise. Second distinction: in bill of exchange, there are three parties involved, and that is the drawer, the payee, and the drawee. The drawee, if he accepts the instrument, he ceases to be a drawee, he becomes now an acceptor. The payee, once he endorses the instrument, ceases to be a payee, he is now an endorser. As early as now, I'd like you to understand that prior to acceptance, a drawee has no liability. The liability of the drawee attaches once he becomes an acceptor. And in bills of exchange, an acceptor is a person primarily liable. The payee has no liability at all over the instrument also. And this is true for bills of exchange and for promissory note. However, once his status is converted to an endorser, or if he transfers the instrument from himself to another person, his liability attaches. And an endorser is secondarily liable, meaning if the party primarily liable could not pay, then the party secondarily liable will pay. The drawer, prior to acceptance, is primarily liable to the payee. But once the drawee accepts the instrument, and the drawee ceases to be a drawee, now he is an acceptor, the liability of the drawer is now secondary. It's like the liability of an endorser. So the liability of the drawer and the endorser after acceptance is secondary. Okay, take note of that. Now, take note of that. The maker is always primarily liable class, and the endorser, the payee in a promissory note, the payee, if he endorses the instrument, he is secondarily liable. Okay? So, yan. Now, there are times wherein we may treat the promissory note like a bill of exchange. When will this happen? After acceptance, when the drawee accepts the instrument, the primary liability on the instrument rests on the acceptor. Therefore, the drawer and the drawee are parties secondarily liable. The holder of the instrument may hold the acceptor as the person primarily liable. Therefore, the relationship is as if there is a promise. There is a promise given by the acceptor to the holder of the instrument that he will pay on due date or after circumstances or conditions thereof are fulfilled. Okay? Not conditions, Because promissory note in a negotiable instrument, it contains an unconditional promise. No? So let erase. No? So by accepting the instrument, the acceptor undertakes that he will pay unconditionally the holder of the instrument. In that case, the bill of exchange is treated as if it is a promissory note. Okay? Clear tayo dyan, class, ha? Now, another very important thing that you should remember, no? You should remember in this chapter is the difference between an inland bill and an inland and a foreign bill of exchange. Inland bill, it is issued in the Philippines and it is delivered or is accepted in the Philippines also. While for foreign bill, it is issued in the Philippines, however, the acceptance is done elsewhere. Or baliktad, it is issued in other jurisdiction other than the Philippines, pero ang acceptance niyan is nasa Philippines. Why is it necessary that you have to distinguish whether the bill or the bill is inland or foreign? It is necessary to ascertain whether the bill is inland or foreign because in case of dishonor, different rules apply. In inland bill, no, in inland bill, all you have to do is to send notice of dishonor to parties secondarily liable. While if it is a foreign bill, then notice is insufficient. It should be protest. Later, we'll have a discussion of what is protest. Okay. However, if no place was designated, no place was designated as to where it was issued, where it should be accepted, then the holder of the instrument may treat it as an inland bill. Okay, so these are the things that I would like you to remember in chapter 9 of Title 2. Have a good day, class.